how can data turn PR into a sales growth machine? And the first principle of this, we're going to do 4 principles that you can use right away, is that data is proactive. Data is proactive. And more specifically, don't wait for news to happen. Use data to create news. Here's my really simple definition of really good data, what it does. It gives you a monopoly on a story. What I mean by that is, if you have the bit of data and the rest of the world does not have the data, you have a monopoly on the story. So when you're in a competitive industry and you've got 9 competitors and you're competing for share of voice and you're trying to get attention and 8 of them outspend you, you're like, shoot, well, how can I have this little piece of the story? Well, if I have an amazing bit of data that no one else has, congratulations, I have a monopoly on that story. No one else can touch what I can do. So it gives you a way to circumvent the pecking order, the brand awareness, all that, if you can create that. So this is how we create data-driven news. The way this works when we roll this out is, 1, we start with a timely news peg, something that's happening that we can leverage right now. Number 2 is, we have that data study related to that news peg. So we're not just creating data studies. That's one of the kind of mistakes a lot of people make, is like, let's do this data report, let's do a white paper, let's stick it on our website. If we build it, they will come, right? Instead, let's leverage what's timely, what's happening, and let's offer insight into what's already trending. 3, we post a study on your website, so we do want something that people link to. 4, we pitch the data study story to mass media. 5, the media links to the full study because they have to cite the source. They can't just say they heard this. They have to cite where it is, so that link's helpful, and then you get inbound traffic and SEO. Let's go to part 2, which is data is responsive. So everything we've done thus far is about data being proactive, right? We were creating news by generating data. That's like data. That's like a really good offense, right? If you're like a sports fan, that's like your offensive team, right? If you're like a football or soccer fan, right? So now let's play great defense. Let's make data really, really responsive. And so what we do with our clients is prepare ready-to-go data insights to piggyback on breaking news. So we know that news is going to break in our industry. We know that competitors are going to generate news, especially if there's much bigger competitors than us. So we're ready to go. If they do something, that we have something to respond with. 3rd principle, data is timely. This is Singles Day in China. This is another picture of Singles Day in China. You have Jack Ma and Nicole Kidman there helping launch it. And if you don't know Singles Day in China, you should know this. This is Alibaba's single day sales by year. By the way, those are in billions. What is interesting about this to me is Singles Day is one of the world's most sophisticated data-driven PR activations. This entire thing is PR, and it's highly leveraging data because in addition to being the biggest sales day in the history of the world, it is the biggest day of data collection in the history of the world because everything that's being fueled from the prior year is fueling how the marketing is done the following year. So the key with this is that data is timely. Everything that they're doing is driving to a moment in time. Sometimes we think of PR just in terms of awareness, but you can also use data-driven PR to drive actions. And particularly data and using a time trigger is really, really powerful for that. So combine data stories with time triggers to get new prospects to take action now. And what we find is when we have great data stories and people are coming into our funnel from that, they're often educated a bit more, and I'd say on average, tend to be high, across all of our clients, tend to be higher quality leads and prospects. And finally, data is scalable. So that's like, right, the sort of the magic formula as a growth marketer. How do we make this scalable? So we can try it small, it works, we can scale it really big. Let me give you an example. So the key to unlocking data-driven PR is to make it rapidly scalable. Work laterally instead of sequentially. So let me explain what I mean. Most of when people do PR, it's because it's like a press release-driven approach. It's sequential. You do a press release, you wait a bit, you do another one. You wait a bit, you do another one. So there's this one track that you're following. Here's the cool part. If you do this in parallel, all of you who care about growth curves, you shorten your time axis. How would you like to have 217 sales-driving landing pages on the world's top media websites? If you do this right, each of those pages is essentially a landing page that you took from your website or you took from your landing page creator, and now you placed it on the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, ABC Tampa. all of those different places, and they all drive inwards to you. And if you do that well, if you use great data to create a story, those last, those persist, and you have essentially unpaid entry points to your sales funnel all over the web at some of the biggest traffic sites in the world, which of course is great for SEO too. So this is why I believe that every B2C and every B2B brand or company should have a data program. And what is your data program? How do you use data not only for internal insights, not only for growth hacking, but also to package up for others to consume so that you can enter the broader conversation and the broader story? Thank you all. I wish you that kind of success. Thank you.